Hey everyone, Lance again, back with another video. And in today's video, we are going to unveil the new car we've purchased. A couple of videos back, we were talking about which convertible should we get to complement the F-Type essentially. So we had a look at a few things. We had a look at Z4M Roadsters, M6s, M3s, TT-RSs, maybe even an MX-5. But ultimately, we decided on this. This is a 2003 Honda S2000 in Imola Orange. It's the pre-facelift car. You might be able to tell because of the lights. It's got fog lights in this particular one, which are aftermarket. It would typically be a Ventnor. But yeah, the S2000. So we saw this S2000 in that video. The advert was in the classifieds of the Owners Club. We went down to see it after test driving another car, and yeah, I enjoyed it. It was the first S2000 I've ever driven, and the day, it was a perfect day. Sun was shining like today, so the car looked mint. And yeah, I just had a lot of fun and thought, why not? I got it for a reasonable price. I probably paid a bit over the odds, in honesty. It's got a lot of miles, but it does come with a history. You may notice the car if you're a car anorak and you watch a lot of TV. This is the one from Wheeler Dealers. Yeah, Mike Brewer bought this. Ed China did some work on it, and they ended up selling it back to the original owner. And then it got sold a couple of times since then and eventually found its way to me. So it's done 146,000 miles or thereabouts. It's had 12 owners, so yeah, quite a few. A couple of that being the production company for Wheeler Dealers. And yeah, what do you think? Looks good in the sun, no? I did want the history being laid bare because of the Wheeler Dealer stuff. It came with a chunky folder, which we'll probably save for another video, where we'll go through how much it's had spent on it, we'll go through the history, show some pictures of what work it's had done, and maybe some clips from the episode. Let me know in the comments if you think that would be interesting. But yeah, it was one of the draws to the car. I probably paid a bit over the odds for it. A similar model with similar mileage would, you know, a different colour with no history or whatever, would cost, you know, a couple of grand less. But I got a few grand off the asking price, so I was happy. I had that budget and I had an amount in my head that I wanted to pay for this. I paid less than that, so yeah, we both walked away happy, and I got a nice Imola Orange S2000. So what I'll do is I'll give some brief explanations of it. We'll go from front to back, we'll just talk a bit about it, and then yeah, in the next video, we'll go for a drive in it just to keep this video a bit shorter. So yeah, let's have a look around. The last owner was quite fastidious and spent quite a chunk of change on it to get it up to spec, and we're probably just going to take it that little bit further. Yeah, let's go. This is a pre-facelift 2003 model year car. In the UK, we only ever got the AP1. So I don't really want to refer to them as AP1 and AP2 because everyone in the UK is AP1. We only ever got the 2-litre 4-cylinder, the one that revs to 9,000 RPM, whereas in other markets they got the 2.2 litre. This is 240 brake horsepower and very little torque. I think it's about 160 pound-feet. So yeah, it's not very powerful, but it is oodles of fun. There's the original license plate. Well, I say original license plate, it's not the original. It's obviously a personalised license plate, but it was the one that was on the episode. This car's had a front lip added to it. It's the OEM front lip, but it's been added to this particular vehicle. It didn't exist in that episode. I'm not sure whether or not I like it. There is aftermarket fog lights in, which I do not like. They are coming out. We need to take this bumper off anyway to do some work on the headlights. They need a good buff and some of the balls replacing. The driver's side is a lot worse. So we need to take the bumper off, and whilst we're at it, we'll get rid of those fogs, get rid of the wiring, and clean up the headlights. Moving down the side, these alloys are aftermarket, the 17s. The original came on 16s. I've actually got a set of them. They just need refurbing. I'm thinking of maybe painting them the same colour as my F-Type's wheels, so like an anthracite. and they'll go on. I prefer, I guess my initial idea for this is OEM Plus, just like the other car. But these are aftermarket. I think they're made to look like the updated S2000s alloys, or one of the style of alloys. The brakes have been upgraded, groove discs, calipers have been painted. The braking's not great on this car, as you'll find out in the next video. But they just need, I think, a little bit of work down the side. It's relatively tidy. It's had new arches because these tend to rust out, especially if you have the car close to the ocean. They've been cut out, it's been repainted. It came with side spats on it. Well, I say it came with, I didn't get it with side spats on. The previous owner had side spats on it and he's taken them off. He tried to do some touch up at some point. Not very great, but we'll probably fix that. Go around the back. It may look all original, but the exhaust is aftermarket. It's meant to look or sound like the original. It's stainless, so it sounds like the original car, so that's not too bad. The spoiler is an OEM look, but it's an aftermarket one. The colour match is not fantastic, but it's good enough. In the sun, it looks fine. The lights, you can get an OEM look aftermarket LED kit, which I think might be worth doing maybe on the front and back to bring it up to date. You can actually get the facelift version of the front headlights, but there's some cutting to do. We may do that, I'm not sure. The car came with loads of like interior pieces, spare interior pieces, the OEM head unit, and also like a half cover and a full cover, which was cool. We'll have a look inside now. It's already unlatched, so ignition's on. We'll bring the roof down. All works perfect. So yeah, just talking through the interior a bit. It's got some aftermarket mats. It's got new original mats and carpets in there. He's put some like leatherette stuff around the center console. I'm not a massive fan. We might get rid. He's installed a subwoofer behind the passenger seat. So he's put a stop on the passenger seat as well, so it doesn't go back into that subwoofer. I think the last guy who owned this did like his audio. You can see behind the driver's seat is installed some speakers on top of the trim panels. We have the original trim panels, so I think they're going to go in and those speakers are going to come out. I'm just going to return it to OEM to start with. So that means replacing the head unit. That fascia was not part of the pre-facelift cars. That's from the 2004 onwards cars. I've got the original one, we'll put that in as well. And we'll sort the passenger seat out so there's a bit more leg room. There's no glove box, as you probably know. You do get these over the, whoop, you get that and this over the driver's shoulder. Bit of a nightmare to get to, but hey ho, better than nothing. No traction control. It's got that gauge cluster, which is really cool. I'm a fan of it. I know a lot of people don't like it. Everything driver orientated. So yeah, the previous owner spent a lot of money on this car. The interior is probably the most tatty thing about it, but it's not bad, especially for something that's 20 years old. I've seen a lot worse in cars a lot younger. There's a few things that might need replacing, like this fascia surround for the cluster and a few bits and bobs. We have a lot of these pieces anyway, so that'll be something fun to do. So the latch is underneath the driver cluster. So that's under the bonnet of the S2000. You can just see how long the car is and how much room there is under here and how far back it's pushed. It's what makes them easy to work on, I guess. So yeah, some aftermarket stuff. You've got a Takeda intake with a cone filter in there, AFE power stuff, dynamatting. You've got like a battery bolt tie down. These have been replaced because these typically rust out really quickly. It's even got some rust stop technology tied to it here and here. I hear they use them on like oil rigs for the parts that are submerged in water. I kind of feel like they don't necessarily work on cars that aren't always wet, but I don't know. Maybe somebody can let me know. So yeah, that's the S2000, the intro video to it. What do people think? Did I make the right choice of car? Do you like the colour? What do you think of the wheeler dealer history? Is it good or is it a hindrance? If there's any content you want to see on the S2000, then let me know in the comments below. If anybody's got any recommendations on modifications, places to go, or channels with a lot of information, then I'm all ears. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to keep updated on progress of the S2000 or the F-Type or anything car related that I'm up to, then subscribe to the channel. That's it for me in this video. In the next video, we'll be taking it out on the road and you'll get to see my driving impressions. So yeah, see you in that. Bye for now.